Stephen Cloobeck, take our hand, lead us to the promised land. California, California, get a clue. Stephen Cloobeck is the guy for you. Stand a chair, this is your cue. Stephen Cloobeck will pull us through.
Hi, I'm Stephen J. Cloobeck, and I know this is formerly known as Hard Truths with Stephen J. Cloobeck, but it's the Stephen J. Cloobeck podcast. And today, as you know, we always have fascinating friends here on the show. And today I'm here with my dear friend, Scott Budnick.
Thank you for having me, brother.
I appreciate it. And we're going to talk about some interesting concepts, always hard truths, as you know. But today we're going to talk about Hollywood, how important it is to California, and also prison reform and what it's like, the system, because Scott is so involved. He's taught me so much, and we're going to talk about that too on the show today. But the biggest topic in California today is keeping Hollywood in Hollywood.
Man,
so I know you've been working your ass off on this.
it has been it's been quite the campaign. And when we started it in November, didn't look like anything was going to happen.
Where are you getting pushback from?
Man, horrible budget. Lot of cuts happening in social services. Lots of potential cuts happening from the federal government. Just very bad budget year. A lot of people were like, "We believe in this, but not now."
If not now, when?
Well, that was my. I mean, a lot of people that aren't part of the business and are not from LA, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to have them understand that we have people, workers, everyday workers that have been in the business for 20 years.
Electrical, grips, catering, yeah.
Vendors, etc., who have had to sell their home and are living in their cars.
Yeah.
Who were making $250,000, $100,000 every year prior. It's that bad.
Well, you know, it's my oldest son, Jake, is a creative producer, and my half-adopted son, Zac Efron, is Zac Efron. He's the actor.
Yes, he is.
And my son has a lot of friends in the industry, young actors, Noah, and it's crazy to me because I hear their stories of their struggle. And I have dear friends like Morgan Fairchild, who's just like on the verge of tears, being almost evicted from her apartment. We're talking Morgan Fairchild. I mean, she's iconic. And it boggles my mind because as I've seen this from afar, as you know, running for governor, it's so intuitive to me because I ran tourism in the United States. I was in the hospitality business, you all know, for a long time. And hospitality is unique because it has such trickle-down effect. First of all, you can work in hospitality without a college degree. Same thing in entertainment.
Yep.
You don't need a college degree.
Yep.
That's important. And it's an export. And people don't understand. When I was running Brand USA, I created Brand USA of the United States of America and worked for the White House. I had to convince senators and representatives in the House, Congress, how important tourism and travel was to the United States after the lost decade of travel. And it was 23% of the United States exports. That means we make money, all of us, to our GDP of the United States through international visitors coming into the United States.
And what's California best known for?
Hollywood.
Yeah, that part.
Entertainment. So I think what we have to do together, and you and I talked about this before, but we got to explain it a little bit. Now that you've done this great work in the state to bring this to the attention, to take the budget from $330 million, and you say it's a tax incentive, and I want you to change your language with me.
Yes.
I want you to call it an investment in.
Yeah, I love that.
It is not a tax incentive. It's an investment in.
Because the money comes back.
That's right. And what we were doing with tourism and travel in the United States, it was an investment in the marketing of the United States after the lost decade of travel. And the return on invested capital for travel and tourism in the United States was in excess of 25 to 1. And I've just run some funny math.
Yeah.
And I think I shared it with you.
You did.
So if we look at the value of entertainment for the United States of America, our federal government, all of us together, united and unified, entertainment is 20 to 1 return on invested capital. Entertainment.
Big number.
So travel and tourism and entertainment, and that was one of my philosophies in running for governor, really crowing about these great exports in California. And it happens to be tourism and travel and entertainment, and actually coupling them together in California. California's got, with tourism and travel, this great export because we travel inside our state. We have people coming from other states into California, and we've got international visitation. Now, what does Hollywood do? Entertainment. Hollywood's worldwide. And for us not to have not just a coalition of ourselves within the big country of California, because we're the fourth largest economy in the world, using that horsepower married with the federal government uniting and making Hollywood again. Because if you do the math, Georgia has $563 billion in GDP, and their incentive structure is like $1.3 billion.
Yep.
We in California, we're at $330 million. Pathetic. Joke.
For 10 years, been stuck at $330 million.
A joke. And now you worked really hard to just get it to over $700 million. That's not even competitive with Georgia. You had to really bust your balls.
And what's our GDP?
Our GDP is $4.1 trillion. So if you do the inverse math, I did it on ChatGPT. Matter of fact, you know what I did?
Tell me.
I sent this math to President Trump and to Gavin Newsom.
On a group text?
A group text.
Together?
I'll show it to you. Of course, they didn't respond, but I know they both got it. And then I did it again today, and I'll talk about that in a minute because we're going to talk about where this is going.
Yeah.
So if you do the inverse math, ChatGPT did it for me. California, with its $4.1 trillion GDP, could actually invest in Hollywood $9.47 billion to be competitive with the state of Georgia.
So basically 10x.
10x, and that's going to give us a 20 to 1 multiplier effect.
That part.
I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out this math. If we invest
No,
in...
you just need to be able to use ChatGPT.
You're right. You're right. So, I mean, I showed the president and our governor, Gavin, this ChatGPT. I know they got it. No response because I don't think they get along. I know they
Don't think so.
No, I don't think they get along. But, I sent them another text today after you and I talked.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about this.
Yep.
You said, what's the biggest threat? It's not just against ourselves because we've kind of given away Hollywood. California just had their eye off the ball. We forgot about our greatest export and a source of GDP that trickles down to everyone, down to dry cleaners, Taco Bell. So what is the biggest threat right now? It's not the states in between the states. What is it?
It's international. It's London.
London.
By the way, let me one example.
Yeah, go.
I had a bunch of guys that I mentored who were in the foster care system, juvenile justice system, that got out, changed their life, went to college, became union grips.
Yep.
Worked on The Mandalorian. Great job. Lucasfilm, Star Wars, right? Employing thousands of people down on the stages in Redondo Beach. Thousands, multiple shows. Lucasfilms last December decided they're going to move all their operations to London. All of those shows, thousands of workers unemployed. Went to London, saved money. So even if we can neutralize, even if we can take your $9 billion and become competitive with Atlanta and New York and New Jersey, which we are now. New York and New Jersey, we're about equal with right now in terms of this new credit. But if we can become competitive with everyone in the United States, they're still going to be running to London and Romania and Bulgaria and Canada.
They can actually fly there cheaper, huh?
It is cheaper to fly 400 crew members and put them in a hotel in London and make the show than to make it here.
Insanity.
So we need a federal credit.
I get it. I'll show you the text that I sent them today after our conversation. I'll show you this. I sent them, so they got 2 texts from me. And I know they got it. But maybe they can wake up. Maybe we can push on this together.
Yeah,
to get this done.
I'm all in.
I know you are. So Let me ask you a question. I'm a fan of yours in many ways.
Oh, damn. What does that mean?
Well, I'm straight, dude, okay? Let's be really clear right now. I can give you references. I got a long list of
the
references.
producer of The Hangover, so you can't say stuff like that and not get
I
called out.
want to talk about The Hangover because
you can't say
I'm
that
a
without
big
getting
fan.
called
As a matter
out,
of fact, my dentist actually did remove the tooth.
At Helms.
I did not understand. The guy actually removed his tooth.
Yeah.
He got a total implant.
Correct.
That's committed.
Yeah.
I did not. Mine's the same dentist.
At Helms.
At Helms. I'm telling you.
My hometown buddy, Atlanta, Georgia.
So
My
dentist, Dr. Rifkin, he told me, he said, you're not going to believe what I did. I'm like, what? It's like I took out this guy's tooth and I put in a fake tooth for a movie. I'm like, what movie? I said, I can't tell you. But I figured it out afterwards. I said, well, that's what you're doing.
The only one up to that would be if your doctor was Mr. Chow. You know he was a real doctor.
Well, I was going to be a real doctor. Did you know that?
No.
I have a degree in neurobiopsychology. I did my thesis on Alzheimer's. I worked at Cedars-Sinai 4 years. Worked in the ER for 6 months. I was taking about dead bodies for 3.5 years. I worked in B1. You know why I liked it?
No.
No one talked back. It was a great job.
I was pre-med for 1 semester.
I was pre-med for all 4 years. I got my degree. And I pivoted when
you could have never been a doctor.
Oh yeah, I could
have.
have.
Too much ADD.
I would have been great.
You'd be so bored.
No, you know what? If I was I was going to be a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Go to you.
I'm telling you, I've got the hands of grace. I could crack a skull, cut a Y cut, take out the rib cage. I was so good anatomically. My skills became perfected.
That would just be such a waste of your skill set.
No, but listen. But that's what I was going to do. I didn't know I was going to go into business, and it's crazy because. It was okay with me. I was just like, I was published on 3 abstracts with Dr. Swan Gans. I worked with tangentially and Dr. Matloff. If Dr. Matloff had a bad day, he was a cardiothoracic surgeon because we did in vivo versus in vitro validation of the echocardiograph 2.0. Today they got 4.0. But see, I'm a science guy. And it's crazy because if Dr. Matloff, the great cardiac surgeon, had a bad day and we looked at all of his patients prior to, that's in vivo when they're living. We'd see them in vitro when they were in V1. And he'd have a bad day, he'd lose like all of them. All 3 die. Yeah, he likes statistics. He had a bad day.
All right, back to entertainment.
Anyway, it was very good. So I like talking about dead bodies. So let's no entertainment. So let's talk about your stuff. So did that actor really piss in Mike Tyson's pool?
He pissed in a pool. Wasn't Mike Tyson's.
What did the lion really eat the steak?
Lions love steak. They don't like cinnamon.
They don't like salmon. Okay. I was just curious. I just wanted to know. So what was the craziest thing in that movie that happened that you did not expect to happen? Tell us a secret.
I would say that there's the moment where Mr. Chow jumps out of the trunk naked, but it was written that he was supposed to be wearing pants, but it was his idea to do it naked.
I met him in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas for a long time, building Diamond Resorts, and I met him. He's a good guy, and he is a doctor.
Yeah, great guy. Great
guy. Doctor. He's funnier than shit.
So he came up to me the day before, and he said, I want to do it naked. And I had to negotiate with Warner Brothers and get nudity releases, et cetera, et cetera. Brought it to his room at 11 o'clock at night, signed it. So we did it naked. It was 110 degrees, out the empty parking lot across from the Mandalay.
Yeah.
And 110 degrees. And
I know, I lived there. I know how hot it is.
Yeah, you know how it gets, right? You had to keep jumping out of that trunk naked onto Bradley Cooper's shoulders.
But
he was sweaty. It was nasty.
But you know what's so easy? When it's that hot, you can't see anything on camera because it's like inside your body. It's inverted.
that clearly. We forgot.
Trust me, I lived there.
We forgot to clear it with the cops.
Oh no! So Metro
came.
A
naked.
So Metro
person jumping out of a car trunk.
Metro came by.
Yeah, they tried to shut us down. People were in the hotels.
You didn't have the sheriff's number.
People in the hotels.
You could have called me for the sheriff's number.
I didn't know you when we were doing The Hangover.
I'm telling you, I was down the street.
I didn't know you. I know
office.
you were. I know you. We would have had so much fun.
That we would.
I was living in Caesar's Palace for like 2 months.
Oh, we would have been dead if you and I went out.
Did you know?
We would have been the Hangover.
Did you know Gary Selesner?
I know Gary Selesner back to the Hard Rock days.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no, I know everyone. I was chairman.
R.I.P. Gary Selesner.
I know. God rest his soul.
And by the way, let me just say this: Every single hotel group in Vegas passed on The Hangover. The only person that said yes to do The Hangover after every hotel passed, MGM, Sheldon Adelstein, Steve Wynn,
Adelson.
Palms, everyone passed.
God rest his soul.
The only person that said yes was Gary Selesner, Caesar's Palace, the
I bet
president of
they're
Caesar's
all
Palace.
kicking themselves in their nuts.
Yeah. He's now, because of The Hangover, he built Nobu, the Nobu Hotel, Mr. Chow, Omnia.
Yeah.
Now, what's that steakhouse in New York? Peter Luger's.
Peter Luger's there.
Yeah. They're all his brainchilds.
Classic.
Yeah. In a recession.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but
You know, you were there.
I was there. I saw what you guys were doing, but they filmed some pretty epic movies. When I was a kid, my father had the Jockey Club, and they filmed Casino at the Jockey
Best
Club
Vegas
with my
movie ever
dad.
made.
And so I remember I met everyone. I met Sharon Stone for a second time because I went out with her for
Were you around in the Rain Man
a
days?
hot minute. Nope, did not see that, but I met De Niro and Pesci. We used to go to dinner at this place called Joey Pig's on East DI. Joey Pig Nutella. It's cool. It's a lot of mafia, ex-mafia guys. Old days Vegas. Kind of grew up there. I got a lot of stories. I met this one guy when I was a kid waiting for my dad to play golf every day at Las Vegas Country Club. I was probably 15, 16 years old. I would wait for him at Las Vegas Country Club at the bar, and I'd have a Coke, Diet Coke, whatever. He said his name was Mo. I'm like, hey, Mo. Just met this guy all the time. I had no idea who I was talking to. It's Mo Dalitz. Met Joey Cusimano, Mo Dalitz, all these guys. It's a trip. What's your favorite movie you did?
I made a really crazy movie called Project X, which was like a high school house party movie. It's like the Animal House of like young kids these days, or at least it was 10 years ago. It was the most fun I had making it. Made it all at Warner Brothers in LA, but it was a blast. Old School was a blast.
Yeah.
Old School was like my first real producer credit. Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, Luke Wilson. That was a blast. Due Date was a lot of fun. That was
Due
Robert
Date.
Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis. Went back to my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, started shooting there.
You're from Atlanta?
I am, sir. Then moved west
That's
to
very Atlanta.
New Mexico.
Sir?
What's that?
You said sir?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I'm a good Southern boy.
Well, I see that.
Yeah.
So
I respect you, Gov.
from your mouth to God's ears for all of us in California, because I actually know what to do. I'm ready to take the keys tomorrow. It's funny, I was talking with Governor Newsom a couple of weeks ago. He goes, why does everyone beat me up? It's like, I've got an expiration date. And I'm like, Governor, your expiration date's my birth date. He said, get out of here. He and I poke each other. We love each other. We're good guys. He's a good guy. He's really a good
He's
guy.
a really good guy.
He's a good guy. He when you're in the business world and you've done federal work like I have, and you've come up really hard, and state work, you try to run the Nevada State Athletic Commission with all those promoters and boxers and refs and fighters.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I had this one day, there was a guy who tried to get a license when I was a regulator, and I was the judge that day too, because we ran court every month. So of course, new licensees are coming up. And this lawyer came in from Florida. He was a shill. He lied to me. You lie to me, you die. You must my trust, you're dead. And I caught him lying, and I denied him his license. And it was an interesting show, but he didn't do his homework, because there'd been others that had lied to me in front of the commission, and I was, the nicest, greatest guy, but I was the hanging judge. The Democrats, the hanging judge. They're like, you can't be a Democrat, you're a hanging judge. I'm like, no, you lie to me, you die. In character, integrity is everything. It's a big part of my book, Facing Hard Truths. And I figured out this guy lied, so I denied him his license. So we went to the executive director and said, what just happened to me? He said, you've never seen the Cloobeck Express? You just got hit by it. He goes, what's that?
I don't ever want to see that.
Well, no, it's really good in first class, because you get champagne, caviar, a movie, a massage. And if you're in the front of that train, you know what you turn into? Pink mist. Look it up. It's a defined term. Military term. You ever heard that, pink mist?
Of course.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It's pretty interesting. Anyway, that's funny. So, you and I have spent a lot of time together on your charity. Tell me about what you're doing. It's not a charity. It's more than a charity, ARC.
Yeah, 2004, about 20 plus years ago, went down to a juvenile hall in the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
Met a bunch of kids, 14, 15, 16 years old, facing life in prison. I walked in there, sat down. There was a kid to my left, tiny little kid, 15 years old. Said, how was your week? He said, it was a really bad week. I got sentenced to 300 years to life in prison. 300 years to life in prison. I said, what did you do? He said, I stood next to my friend. My friend shot the victim in the butt. The victim was in and out of the hospital in a day. And for standing next to the guy with the gun, never touching the weapon, I got 300 years to life. And I knew in that moment that if that was my kid, if he looked like me, if he had my resources, he'd be out on bail, sleeping in his own bed, not sleeping in that steel bed in the juvenile hall. He would have the best lawyer in LA. And for not touching the gun, he would not be going to prison for 300 years to life.
That's unbelievable, because we met someone like this.
Oh, we did.
Because we'll talk about that in a minute. So this young man got what's called enhancement upon enhancement upon enhancement.
Yeah, that
Explain that.
In
In this California crazy, stupid system of justice.
So like 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 3 counts of gun enhancement, 3 counts of gang enhancements. And you stack the charges. So you get to about 300 years to life. And I don't even know, he might have had no priors. So he'd never been arrested before. I don't quite remember. But that's it. But we do, the most interesting thing is when you have to go through the parole board, the California parole board, which is if you have a life sentence of any kind, right?
Yep. You introduced me to a lot of fellows that life without the possibility of parole. We'll talk about that in a minute. You took me to Lancaster State.
Yeah.
And we're in C Block. I think it was C Block.
Yeah, we went to A and C. And you went in, and I think someone immediately challenged you in the cell block to a push-up competition. Or you walked in there and you saw some really strong guy and you challenged them.
I'll tell you the way it went down. No, you took my adopted daughter, Mabel. Yes. She's the only woman in there, to a guy's lockup. She's terrified.
Maximum security.
It was maximum security.
Yeah.
She's like grabbing me like for dear life.
By the way, it's not like we're in the officer's office. We're in the cell block.
No, we're in the cell block because we go through like
There's
6
200
gates.
guys in there. 200 guys.
200 guys. And we walk into this one block and we're touring. I'm looking around. She's holding me tight. And I walk into, one of the cells, and it's like the tiniest thing I've ever seen, with 2 steel bunks with all their stuff rolled up nicely, and a little desk and a toilet.
Yeah.
All out of steel. And I'm like, it's like tying her in a closet. 2 guys living in there. And that was a little like earth shattering. And I was just kind of chit chatting with the guys, and you were over to the side with like one of the guards, and I was there with my daughter, and there's some older guys and some younger guys. I think it was like 24 to 73 or 4 years old. But this one kid popped off at me. He said he was 36 years old. Popped off at me. He goes, "You don't have Riz." I'm like, dude, I got California Riz. I grew up here. Wasn't called it Riz. It was called being a Valley boy.
Yeah.
San Fernando Valley, man. And, we got California values, and we're chill, but, we've got a quality of life that there's a big difference between New York and Southern California. There's a big difference between Southern California and Northern California.
For sure.
I mean, don't ever call, you don't call Northern California certain things. And Northern California and Southern California were like north and south, but Nevada's like that too. Northern Nevada, Southern Nevada. Right. So, and down in Southern California, the freeway system, we say the 405.
The 101.
You don't say that up north. It's called 101. There's no the. And you know what's also interesting I found out? I just don't get this. We have Caltrans that takes care of our highways.
Mm-hmm.
How come they look gorgeous up north and they look like shit down south? I'm telling you, we got beautiful trees up north lined and there's no trash. Come down south and we live in a shithole. Whoever's in charge of Caltrans, I'd like to talk to them because you know what? Your northern and southern branches are very different.
When you're governor, if there's trash on those freeways, I'm calling you.
There's no trash, man. Guess what? Because once I fix the balance sheet and income statement,
I'm calling your ass.
You call my ass, but you know why? Because you got my number, and everyone's going to have my number in California. Because I am a customer service guy. Because everyone to me is a customer of California, and more importantly, no one's ever talked like that. Everyone says voters. No, you're a customer. We're all customers of California, equal or greater value. And
okay, back to the guy challenging the push-ups.
So we're in the cell. Thank you for keeping me on track. Director! Producer, excuse me. God forbid you're producer. Okay. You're the money guy. You guy who makes all the money.
So you have no Riz?
No, so when I got no Riz, and I said, go, dude, can you do push-ups? And I'm like, yeah. I said, how many can you do? The kid said I could do 50. I go, great. Okay. No problem. I said, let's drop right now.
So Cloobeck is on his hands and knees on the concrete floor of a maximum security cell block with like a much younger dude half his age in a push-up competition with a bunch of like dudes that are shirtless and stuff like cheering him on.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I knew the assignment. I slayed his ass.
You brought your A game.
No, I took Terry Crews out one night in push-ups. Go look at my Instagram. I actually took him out, and that was dangerous. That was crazy because that guy is like Mr. Muscle. And I did it with Jason Kennedy at a charity event. I took my jacket off and, you know, he goes, I could do 70. And I'm like, shit. Because I knew he was 56 and I was 63. And I just did the math. I needed to do 82%. So I'm like, okay. Somebody did the math and the audience was like 61.2 push-ups. And I'm like, okay. And I did 64. I kicked his ass. But so this kid I wanted to teach him a lesson. I want to teach him a lesson. More importantly,
you did. His life's not hard enough in prison. You had to humiliate him.
I didn't humiliate him. I wanted him to learn the following: when an older guy makes you a bet, because he said to me, "Oh my God, you know." After we did this push-up contest, and the older guys were looking and cheering me on, and I said, "Hey, what'd you learn here?" He goes, "You're in shape. You're swole." Swole. I don't know what swole means. I know what being in shape is. And I said, no, young man, let me tell you something. When an older man makes you a bet and he's confident, don't take the fucking bet. Because we're going to kick your ass. And you know why I did this? I said, pay attention to the older guys in this block. I told him. And the older guys were like, yay, finally, somebody backing us up. You know, because I'm there backing up, you know, the guys who have gone through school, who have been there up to 30 plus years.
Yeah.
In that place or in transferred around the system because maybe they were a little silly when they were younger. But
how about when you laid your eyes on Hoser?
Oh my God. So I meet, you introduced me to, when I went to state penitentiary, I talked to the guards separately and I talked to the inmates. Lifers without possibility of parole. And I just had this jaded opinion of life. You know, they're in there for a reason. Fuck them. And I came out going, oh, shit.
People can change.
No, there's a better...
Young people can change.
There's a better way. You changed my entire opinion of the system as I thought I knew it, but I didn't know it. It's bespoke. It's one of one. And to have just these blanket policies.
That's it. You've nailed it.
Does not make sense.
Like that.
Doesn't make sense. So as governor, I'm changing it. It's bespoke. And I'd sit down with the parole board and give them instruction. Okay? Hey, look, bad behavior is bad behavior. We don't steal, 8th commandment. Proposition 36 didn't go far enough for me. Those are rules. Laws are laws. We follow the law. But you know what? You can learn from breaking the law. And you introduced me to some older gentleman, this one gentleman, Hoser.
Yes.
And if you go to YouTube, it's called Block 5.
Yep.
And I watched this after I left, and this guy inspired me. He sat down with me with a...
By the way, let me just set the stage for this. His entire face is tattooed. If you look at him, he'd be the last person you'd want to see in a dark alley. Smartest, sweetest, guy ever. Just got his bachelor's degree from Cal State LA. You would never when you look at it, you would never guess, right?
I'd be terrified. Because, I met this one guy when I was a bodybuilder in college. I used to work out with some meatheads in Massachusetts when I was going to college. And, these guys are hardcore gym guys, and they accepted me, and that was cool. We were doing silly things like, I was big. I weighed almost 265, benching 410. I had 21-inch arms. And I was a big dude. But the gym, they accepted me. There's one guy by the name of Emil, and he was all tatted up. You would meet him in a dark alley, but you wanted to be a friend. He had this one tattoo underneath his chin. It said, "Smile." And I'm like, Emil, I've known you for a few months now. Okay to ask you, we've been working out. You've been spotting me. I've been spotting you, and we're doing some heavy stuff. I benched 410, squatted 675, and what's that tattoo mean? He goes, "I'm a mercenary." I'm just a college idiot. I'm like, I don't know what a mercenary is. Never heard of it. He said, "I get shit done." I didn't know what that meant. I had to look it up. But so we met this guy, Hoser. I sit down at this table, and he's got a speckled notebook like me. And he opened it up with a Bic pen in his hand, and he had 8 questions for me. And I was sitting there watching, but I was thinking to myself, oh my God. And he was telling me his story that he's worked so hard and he's getting his degree, his bachelor's, and he wants to come out, and he was listening to my campaign. He says, I'd really like to work with you. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Right? But I mean, the way he looks. And I got to tell you that what was so interesting, I love this guy. And, because you introduced me to him and he asked me so many unbelievably great questions, I would hire him. And I even wrote a letter
to the parole board.
Yeah, to the parole board. And what's so unique about him, first of all, I'd never written a letter to a parole board before. So I had to talk to his lawyers to find out everything about him, because if I was putting my name on it,
yep,
my name's my word, my bond, my character.
I like giving you firsts.
That was a first. So I've never done this. And I remember he told me he was there. Tell me if I'm wrong. It was so circumstantial. It reminds me of the young man you were talking about before. He happened to be like related to, but did not pull a trigger. And the guy was shot in the leg. He didn't pull the trigger, but he was like there, or drove the car or something like that. And they didn't even expect to rob somebody. They just ended up doing it. Is that right?
Yeah,
and it was an enhancement on enhancement on enhancement.
A lot of enhancements, and it's just like the exact kind of story where it comes back to your point of like, you got to look at the person.
Oh, so I'm saying to myself, first of all, the guy's unbelievable. I mean, I was just blown away. Guy was so articulate and had so many great questions, and knew what I was doing in my campaign. And
can you imagine him in a suit working in the Horseshoe with you?
Oh, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I'll take this guy anywhere. You know what? I don't care what he looks like. I'd take him for his soul.
Yeah.
I saw this guy's soul. I saw his heart.
You did.
And he wants to come back out and end that circle of people going from gang into
the system.
Wants
to send him to college.
And he's an inspiration. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote that letter to the parole board, and I was so happy. I love signing that letter, but you taught me that, and I'm grateful.
Well, thanks for being open.
It was unbelievable because, and explain this to me though, I was looking at the budget of the state penitentiary system, and I don't have, maybe my math is off, but I need to be more educated. And I know I'm meeting some of your friends to teach me this, but so in the California system, the current governor let about 38% of the population out of the state penitentiary system.
During COVID.
So let 38% out. But funny, the budget went from $15 billion to $18 billion. Now, how does that math work?
Yeah. And I think when I started, it was $3 billion.
Okay, so how does it go from $3 billion to 15 to now 18, and you let 38% of people out of the system?
The most incredible thing was, as the numbers were dropping and the budget was going up, they said, the Department of Finance said to the governor, Well, the only way for you to get savings is to actually close a prison, not just reduce the population, because then you have to keep everyone still there, even though the population is reduced, right? So this governor has closed 5 prisons.
I know, but let's talk
How's the
about...
budget not gone down? His own Department of Finance said, close prisons, and that's how you get savings.
So what the fuck, Governor Newsom? Can't you do math? I mean, look, I love you. You know we're friends, but this is just a up my craw. When 38% approximately of the population goes down, and you close 5 prisons, and how about this? You want to know what's silly? I did my homework. You closed down Susanville. You shut down a goddamn town. You killed the population of Susanville.
There were 2 prisons there.
Well, 2 prisons in Susanville. Well, just take out a whole town. Why'd you do your goddamn homework, dude? Why? I know we get a little anxious about this, but I love him, but that's just silly, fucking stupid.
I think when you get into the weeds, there's so much.
I want to get into the weeds.
But the weeds are, and I'll be very brief on it. Where can you hire doctors and nurses? Because they're under consent decrees, and they have to hire psychologists, doctors, and nurses. And what infrastructure is aging, and to replace it would cost.
I understand the CapEx. I get it.
You get it. You know it.
I understand the CapEx. There's a capital expenditure renovation budget. I ran hotels, buddy.
I know, buddy.
In 35 countries. At 432 hotels. All over the world. Different cultures. I get it. Renovations.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What happens if and when Kamala Harris jumps in?
She's got no IQ, no EQ. She was tone deaf in the last election. And you know what? God bless her. Last time I talked to her was May 24th, 2019. Pretty interesting day, huh? Why would I know that?
Does it change your approach?
Why would I know that date?
Why?
That's the 1-year anniversary of my father's death.
Wow.
No fucking EQ, Ms. Harris. How could you call me on the 1-year anniversary of my father's death? I'm one of the largest Democratic donors in the United States.
So not scared.
Bring it on. Come on, word salad. Tone deaf. Prosecutor. Your TikToks are cute, but you never signed the front of a check, Miss Harris. You don't know what it's like to come out of your pocket for payroll. You don't know what it's like to take care of customers.
So you're ready for battle.
Bring it on. She'll get her ass kicked by another businessman, which I'm very different too. But I'm all about taking care of customers. Undercover boss man, people cry happy. Apprentice, they cry sad.
What's the one thing you're most excited about when you take that office?
Number one, taking care of the customers of California, giving them equal or greater value, making California affordable, livable, and workable. Opening it back up for business. It's so easy. I've done the homework. No other candidate's done this. I didn't expect to do this, Scott. This wasn't on my bucket list. There wasn't one candidate, D or R.
Question. In terms of opening the state up for business, is it something in a state you can do with executive orders? Does it all have to go through the legislature?
Ooh, I've been a legislator. I've done laws. I've been a regulator, and I've been a judge. I've been trained by the great Harry Reid and Bill Clinton. I've been 39 years around the hoop. I'm just not a business guy. I've been a business guy that's actually served federal office, state office, and I've done local stuff too. I do things very efficiently.
So you want action day one?
I'll take the keys right now. I'm ready. I'm ready right now. You give me the keys. I do not need training. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to come up with the California Department of Performance and Results.
Oh, wow.
You know what that acronym is?
Tell me.
CPR. We need it. And guess what? Because I was going to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. I'm trained.
Are you worried about the lieutenant governor?
Lieutenant governor, they do interesting things, but, I do have a favorite candidate.
Other than yourself?
Lieutenant governor?
No. I'm saying, isn't the current lieutenant governor running for governor?
No one knows her name. You can't even pronounce her last name. And by the way, she's out of touch. Eleni is out of touch. I could never pronounce her first name. I met her first. And it's 3 hours. I was like, you're kidding me, right? Now, no solutions. She was talking about her dad the whole time. How much her dad could run for president of the United States with one hand tied behind his back. After she told me she was her Greek lineage, which I respect. And I told her about the partners I had in Greece, the Avramopolises, the minister of tourism, the minister of state. She goes, oh, wow. I said, yeah. She's telling them about her dad and how cool. I bet her dad's really cool. And how she's only signed a few checks and worked in accounting for a little bit and did a little entitlement work, but she never really ran the company. And she's got like 100 conflicts of interest. I've got none. But, so she's telling me about her dad. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening, and I'm going, so your dad can run for president with one hand behind his back. He's giving you everything. You're an heiress, basically. I said, I am your father.
That's crazy. So you told her you're her daddy?
I didn't say that. I'm thinking to myself quietly, I am your father. Oh, cool. I haven't met her dad. I bet her dad's really cool. Because her dad was a self-made guy, and I'm a self-made guy.
What do you think the most...
She's like my daughter.
What do you think the most
got the intelligence of my 21-year-old daughter.
Cloobeck, what do you think the most dysfunctional department in state government is?
The most dysfunctional?
Yeah. I mean, I asked because when I came to your office, you had all these binders, right?
Yeah.
On every issue in every department. And you also called me when we were talking about CDCR to meet people who could take you through the entire budget line by line, right? So how deep you go into the weeds. So I know you've looked at all these different departments. Like,
well, I have. I'm gonna flip it on you.
Okay.
You're a customer of California, as we all are. I'm going to ask everyone this: what inhibits you from doing good business in California? What bothers you the most?
I mean, I think from what I hear from everybody, it's just insane, excessive regulations.
You got it. Over 380,000.
Is that a department?
Yeah, it's called the Department of Being Fucked Up.
Yeah.
It's that's a defined term. That's called laws on laws on laws, which are regulations on regulations, which, you know what, add to full-time employees to manage the nonsense without any return on invested capital. So it's Band-Aids on Band-Aids that we have bleeding. We got wounds bleeding in the state.
So what Gavin did around the signing of the budget in terms of housing and trying to get through a lot of those regulations, that's a big step in the right direction?
No.
Not a big step in the right
direction. He's never built fuck shit in his life. I've been a builder since I'm in my 20s. I built throughout all Southern California. I operated numerous hotels in California. I'll tell you what I do, okay? But with the California Department of Performance and Results, and I grow the
CPR,
and I grow the exports of our great state, all 5 exports: travel and tourism, innovation, manufacturing, entertainment, okay? Education and agriculture.
I think the first day I met you, you said the fulfillment incentive should have been $2 to $3 billion.
At least we can go 9.47 billion. I told you $2 billion. You're going to see what I unleash next week. $2 billion. I mean, with all due respect to your hard work from last November, applaud you. It's a baby step.
Yep, I agree.
It's a baby step.
It's the first step.
Because guess what? Act like a fucking country. The country of California. Act like a country. And let's go on offense, not defense. We don't resist. I've said this numerous times. It is just so crazy. Yeah, so our regulations are insane. Do you know, because I've done all this due diligence, and I know no other candidate's done this, or they're not willing to talk about it because they're sucked into the system because they pander. I don't pander to anybody. I tell hard truths. Over the last 10 years, this state had bloated with new state employees, not federal, state employees. 45,000 people, FTEs. That's why I said federal, FTEs, full-time employees. 45,000 more people. And we've lost 1 million people. We went from 40 million to 39 million, but our employee count in the state, more regulations which lead to more employees. We got to go the other way. We have to be efficient, performance and results. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It's important. I don't know if anyone's ever asked you this. Somebody asked me this question a long time ago. If you had one day on planet Earth with somebody that's not alive, Washington, Socrates, Einstein, anyone. Who would you choose it to be and why?
My grandmother.
Ooh.
Her name was Grandma Etty.
Yeah, tell me about her.
Tough woman from the Depression, but loved me.
How much?
And she loved me so much and really guided me, helped me. It's my father's mother. And
Where's she from?
She was a piece of work. She's very tough.
Where's she from?
From New York, but Russian Jew.
Yeah.
And as much as I could get incredible knowledge from the Einsteins of the world and others, is like, I think I watched, I don't know if you remember that movie that Spielberg made that people really didn't like called AI, the robot movie. The last like 15 minutes of the movie, he got to bring his mother back from the dead and spend 24 hours with his mother. There was a little kid, right? And
I'm gonna have to check it out.
oh man, I cried like a baby. I don't know.
So
if I
let's go back to your grandma. Tell me about your grandma.
Yeah, it was just like, you know.
What did she do?
She had just unbelievable belief in pushing me to like accomplish my dreams and do whatever I want. And I think it trickled down to my dad and my parents, and like no one stopped me. I mean, I was pre-med, right? My dad's a doctor. I decided I was going to go into the movie business. He said, thank God, go with God, go. Like there was no resistance. And I think it's because of his own experience. And I attribute that a lot to my grandmother. She was an amazing woman.
Tell me some of the great things she did.
Oh man. My grandfather, who was hilarious, like I wanted to start a DJ company.
Yeah.
And when he grew up in the Depression, and he's like, no, you can't spend all that money. You can't do that. And she told him to shut the fuck up. And
Come on, she didn't say that.
Yeah, she did. And she told me.
This was like what, in the 70s, 80s?
90s?
90s. She told.
90s, yeah. She told her husband to shut the fuck up. And then she told me to spend a couple grand buying the equipment, and I did, and I ended up making a fortune. So I guess was good at helping me take risk, smart risks, calculating risks.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not where you're at today without taking a lot of risks and probably failing a lot too, and learning from failures when you're young.
do. Yeah.
I think failure is incredible.
I would say bring it on.
Yeah. I think so many people are scared to try because they're scared to fail. And when you stop being scared of failure,
you can't be successful unless
without being willing to fail.
Right. So tell me.
Wait, back at you. What was your biggest failure that became the greatest lesson?
My biggest failure, my greatest lesson, was I had a guy on my board. I always made sure I never negotiate with my banks. Never. And I always, if they said whatever the rate was, I said, done. And all of a sudden I got this public company and I got this knucklehead on my board. He says, we got to negotiate with your banks. I said, I don't negotiate with my banks. They're there. They bid with me. I've never negotiated with my banks. Don't make me do this. Well, you have a fiduciary obligation to your stockholders. You got to do this. So this guy's like up my shit. And I'm like, dude, I gave you your stock. He's a real douche. Anyway, so I go and negotiate like 50 basis points. That's like 0.5%. I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I go and do it. We've got this letter of credit for $500 million. And I was so uneasy because I've never done this. And I'm a man of my word. I give somebody my word. I'm a handshake guy. And this is November of 2008, and things are like shitty. 2 weeks after this, we get this letter of intent. And I go back in 2 weeks later in New York after we're negotiating 0.5%. It's the middle of November, and I go up there to this company, and they go, hey, that line of credit that we offered you, it's now 0. No line of credit. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, I am fucked over because of this guy wanting me to negotiate over 0.5%. Against everything I knew. And I should have just bitch slapped that guy. I said, get the fuck off my board. That's what I should have said. He turned out to be a bigger problem, but He had no gut. And I'd never go against your man of your word. Just do it.
Yeah.
Fight it. And that was the big
You never made that mistake again, did you?
fuck. So stupid. And I knew it. I will never, ever, let anyone get in my way of my gut and my character and my name.
Yeah.
I will always live
It's
that.
a great lesson.
So
It's a great lesson.
I'm telling you. But see, grandma, it's funny, my grandpa.
You would say grandpa?
That's my grandpa, yeah. And you know that
Mom's mom or dad's mom?
my dad's dad,
I'm sorry, dad's dad. What was his name?
Copel Jake. I named my son after him. If you I talk about him or my dad, I'll start to cry.
What was his personality like?
Well, he was a hard charger. Came over from Russia in the early 1900s, and nothing.
So we're both Russians.
Yeah, what's Belarus today?
Yeah.
Branovici. And I can tell you, if he and I hung out together, he was in the produce business in Chicago. Watermelons, cranberries, and Christmas trees. A Jew selling Christmas trees. Number 2 in the United States. And number 1 guy was in New York. My grandpa, Jack Cloobeck, was number 2. And he's really proud, and he worked hard. Guy worked hard at 4 a.m. Played cards, hard charger, and he just took risk. And my dad was the first person to go to college. So we always believed in good education, but so my grandparents, my dad's parents, his wife was the best, Jenny. She taught me how to cook. So I became a good cook.
Wait, do you cook?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm
What the fuck? You cook?
Yeah, I cook.
I thought you have like 10 chefs.
No, I'm better cook than anyone else. Shit. I had hundreds of chefs in my company, and I teach them how to make the best Caesar dressing in the world. I test these chefs.
What foods do you not like?
Oh, I'll eat liver and onions.
What don't you like?
What don't I like?
Yeah.
That's a good question because I eat Popeyes. I had Popeyes this morning, as a matter of fact.
There's no food you like?
I'm trying to think what I don't like.
What would your last meal be?
Oh, probably a good steak, charred black and blue, big baked potato, onion rings.
Oh,
Come on.
meat and potatoes guy.
Diet Coke. I'm happy. Take me out.
What?
And then you know what I want for dessert? What would you have for dessert?
Banana cream pie.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm a lemon meringue pie.
Oh, love it. Love tart.
So
Do you like key lime?
key lime's good, but lemon meringue's my favorite. So you know what? This has been epic today. We did a lot of great things, and I'm so grateful and honored you were here. This show, it's funny because we've had people with humor, I have a politics policy, but you're both. You're entertainment and politics and policy. You're going to reshape California. You're working hard. But you know what?
I had more questions for you. I have one last. Let me ask you this.
Is it your fucking podcast or mine?
Let me ask you this. I don't know. You're fascinating. I just have to. What time ideally do you like to go to bed at night, and what time ideally do you like to wake up in the morning?
I need very little sleep. And I've got this new hyperbaric chamber that's making me even younger and younger each day. So I'll go to bed like, 1, get up at 5,
Damn.
5:30. By the way, if you want to stay up on a stay-up contest, I've stayed up 2.5 days. That was the longest. I kicked
I'll
everyone's
pass
ass.
on that.
I've done it. I will do whatever it takes to get the job done. Roll up my sleeves and get it done. I love what I do. It's so much fun. I've never worked a day in my life, and you seem to be that way too. You have fun.
I love it.
I watch your Insta, dude. You're all over the world.
Yeah, I don't feel in 20 years I've ever gone to work, and I work more than I work
because we love what we do.
I love it.
And you know what? I want to make people's lives better.
That part.
We
My
both-
work is helping people.
We agree to that. And
Yep.
you know what? Let's try to work on this United States, California unification on entertainment.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah,
I'm all in with you.
I love it. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
California.